Okay, we will open today's media availability with the defending winner of this race, and that is the driver of the number 2 Discount Tires Ford for Team Penske, Brad Keselowski. Brad, what's it like getting back here and looking to kiss the bricks one more time? I hope the daughter, she been practicing this time?
No, she remembers, but good to see a Ford man. Got a Ford man in the house.
Thank you.
No, it's great to be back here. Of course, as soon as I pulled to the tunnel, I thought about last year, and it's so cool that the track puts up those banners with the race winner. Pulling through and seeing those is really special for me. I've never thought I'd have my face hung up at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It's just a complete thrill for me personally. So as I'm sure it is for all the drivers who've won here, but. Good feeling to be back here, and hopeful that we can repeat last year's win. Certainly a very special day for myself and all of the team and family as well. Yeah, ready to get to it.
Great. We'll open up for questions for Brad, and we got wireless mics. If you have a question, please raise your hand, and we'll get a mic to you. We'll start up here with Holly.
Hi, Brad.
Hey, Holly. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Holly Kane with the NASCAR Wire Service. I'm sure this is kind of a question that you would completely expect to get here, but how important is it for you to get another win, to get back up as we go into the playoffs? I mean, you have 3 wins this year, and I think a lot of people aren't even thinking of that all the time as well as you've done.
Yeah, no, it's certainly nice to, this time last year we, of course, won in Darlington, won this week, and then won the next week, and that felt really good. But, then when we got to Dover, we got caught up in a wreck, and Talladega, we ran out of gas, and Kansas, we ran 4th or 5th, but it wasn't enough to overcome the other 2 races. So it shows you just, how fleeting momentum can be and how quickly it can come and go. So, I'd like to say it's everything, but it certainly, last year kind of showed it's not, at least for me. I think probably what I'm looking for the most is just, to have the speed and to have the ability to execute. The wins and all that come when you have that, and so do the good finishes. You need good finishes, and with that, of course, we still want to win, but when it comes to the playoffs, I kind of feel they're just their own animal.
And we had a question from Dustin and then Claire.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. So, Brad, what are you about to enter after this weekend? What are the next 10 weeks like? How much do things ramp up? How much, the focus change? Do you become crankier, happier? What are you like?
Yeah.
I mean, what does this do going in for this, such a long playoff period of 10 weeks and the physical and mental toll?
Well, the schedules are pretty busy right now. They just get busier, Dustin, and, that can certainly drain you down, but I try not to think about that. I try to think about the opportunity. It's the opportunity to win a championship. And, you can get caught up in the negatives of the responsibility that comes with the opportunity. But I think I try to look more positively at the opportunity. Sometimes I'm good at that. Sometimes I'm not. But, with that said, it's a tough stretch. It's meant to be tough. It's really intentionally designed to be tough, quite honestly, and it's part of the, like I said, the responsibility of having a great team to drive for, and having an opportunity to leave a mark on a sport that's been around for decades and will be around for decades after I'm gone. So that's a real special time in anyone's life, and I think I just want to make the most of it.
Claire.
I have 2 quick questions. Claire B. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. The first is I talked to a lot of young Xfinity drivers yesterday who were really trying to talk themselves into not being overwhelmed by the magnitude of racing at Indianapolis, keep their focus. Do you remember coming here the first time or ever thinking that they're like, we got to just pretend like it's another track, but it's Indy, it's really big?
Yeah, no, there certainly is. It's really an intimidating track as a race car driver. Really, Daytona and Bristol are probably the only other 2 tracks that it reminds me of in that sense. Daytona you pull into, and of course you know what it means to stock car racing. Bristol you pull into, and you're just completely surrounded by grandstands, and just everything's on top of you, and it's super loud and aggressive. Indianapolis is a lot like both of those tracks in the sense that you pull in here, you're surrounded by grandstands. You know the history and what it means to all of auto racing, Claire. And I think with that in mind, it hits you pretty hard when you pull through that tunnel and you see and think about where you're at and what it means. So, that's a good thing. I think it showcases how much this track means to you. There's some tracks you go to and you say, it's just another racetrack. This is not one of them. Indy is not just another racetrack, and I think that's a good thing. That's why we're here.
And another question, what does the regular season championship mean? Kyle secured that last week. Is it just points? How do you as a competitor reflect on him getting that?
I think it's a great thing to win. It would mean a lot to me to win it. I know that. There's a little trophy that comes with it, and I guess some small recognition. But as a team and as a driver, I think it means a lot to you.
We have time for one more before we start breakouts, and we'll go to Dave to wrap it up.
Dave Coleman, Indy Star, Milwaukee Journal Sentinel, and God knows who else. Got a possibility here of getting out of tomorrow with Jimmy Johnson not being in the playoffs. He's Mr. Playoff, 7-time champion. Does that matter to anybody else but him and his team? Does it matter to the sport?
That's tough, Dave. I'm not sure I have a great answer for that. Jimmy's done a lot in this sport. What's tough is when you set a bar so high as he has through his career, when you don't go over it that first time, people are quick to point and to recognize it. I think in a lot of ways it's somewhat flattering if he doesn't make it, that it's his first time making it for the time he spent in the sport. But I still think he's got a great shot to make it, so I wouldn't write him off. But Jimmy's done a lot in the sport. He's got some great fans, and I'm sure they'd be bummed if he didn't make it. But I think at the end of the day, whether he does or doesn't make it, there will still be 16 drivers that have a shot at a championship, and the sport's bigger than any one person.
All right. Thank you, Brad, and good luck on Sunday.
All right, take care. Thank you.
And just a reminder, we're going to have right now, starting in a couple seconds here, William Byron, Chase Elliott, and Kyle Larson at these director chairs up front. Please join us in breakout availability.